You won't believe this. One of the warmest, kindest women in Hollywood history once had to fire her closest co star, and it almost destroyed her show. But before we get there, let's rewind to see how Carol Burnett even got to that stage. She came into the world in 1933 in San Antonio, and it wasn't a storybook beginning. Her parents were both heavy drinkers. By the time she was 4, Carol was hiding under beds to escape her mother's rage. Food came from neighbors. Safety came from locking herself in small rooms. Childhood? She called it survival. Her father left early, and by 6, the divorce was final. Carol and her half sister ended up living with their grandmother in a Hollywood boarding house. $9 a week got them a tiny windowless room where the bathtub was down the hall and mice ran across the floor at night. Money was so tight, her grandmother would stuff theater toilet paper into her purse just so they'd have some at home. But out of that hardship came imagination. Carol invented a twin named Karen, complete with blonde curls and dimples. She'd run out one door, change clothes, and reappear as Karen. Neighbors thought she needed help, but really she was rehearsing for a lifetime of characters. She also perfected a Tarzan yell on the rooftop until the neighbors, and sometimes the cops, showed up. Years later, that yell became her signature on stage. Movies were her escape. For a dime, she could watch double features, study the actors, and figure out what made people laugh. She learned timing by watching audiences react. That's how she built the comedy toolbox that later made her unforgettable. Fast forward to college. She's at UCLA, broke and uncertain about her future. Then one night, she's asked to perform a comedy sketch at a faculty party. It wasn't supposed to be important, but in the crowd was a wealthy shipbuilder who quietly pulled her aside afterward. He offered her a $1,000 loan, today worth about $12,000, with 3 conditions: use it to move to New York, pay it back in 5 years, and never reveal his name. She took it. 5 years later, to the exact day, she paid him back. And that one act of generosity launched everything. By the late 1950s, she was starring on Broadway in Once Upon a Mattress, earning a Tony nomination. By the early 60s, she was winning Emmys, performing legendary specials with Julie Andrews, and hosting one of the greatest variety shows in TV history. She wasn't just funny, she was revolutionary. No woman had ever led a primetime variety show before. She changed that forever. But behind the laughs, Carol faced heartbreak. Her daughter Carrie battled addiction from her teens and spent years in rehab. Carol even forced her into treatment once, knowing her daughter would hate her for it. Later, Carrie got clean and used her story to help others. But in 2002, cancer took her life at just 38. Carol said losing her felt like being cut in half. And then there was the betrayal on her own show. By the 7th season, Harvey Korman, her right-hand man in comedy, suddenly turned cruel. He insulted sketches, belittled guest stars, and snapped at Carol when she confronted him. Things got so bad, he shoved her out of his dressing room and slammed the door. For Carol, that was the breaking point. She channeled every tough screen heroine she'd ever admired, walked back in, and fired him on the spot. Shockingly, that wake-up call saved him. He begged for one more chance, turned his behavior around, and the two remained close friends until his death in 2008. Through it all, poverty, heartbreak, addiction, betrayal, Carol Burnett never lost her gift for laughter. Even at 91, she's still taking bold roles, from Better Call Saul to Palm Royale. When asked why she keeps working, her answer is simple: because it's fun. And maybe that's the real secret: turning pain into comedy, loss into strength, and survival into joy. If you love this story, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments. What's your favorite Carol Burnett moment of all time?